When two bulls fight, it is the grass that suffers. But what happens when the bulls are not only in the same field, but meeting their herds at the same time? September 12th, 2025 will be remembered as the day Kenya's political fault lines deepened. President William Ruto hosting Murang'a leaders at Statehouse, Nairobi, while his estranged Deputy Rigathi Gachagua welcomed MCAs at his Wamunyoro residence. Two gatherings, two messages, and one burning question: who truly holds the soul of Mount Kenya?
Na kuna watu wanajidanganya ati mimi ati nitawachana na watu wa Murang'a. Those people wanaota ndoto ya mchana. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, watu walinipatia kura mpaka nikakuwa rais, nitawachana na wao kwa sababu gani? Ama namna gani, my friends?
Let's start with the freshest scene. On Friday, President Ruto rolled out the red carpet for a Murang'a delegation at Statehouse. Leading the team was Murang'a woman representative Betty Maina, flanked by familiar names: Sabina Chege, former Governor Mwangi wa Iria, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, nominated Senator Veronica Maina, and Maragwa MP Mary Wamaua. Even Deputy President Kithure Kindiki was on hand, adding weight to the optics. The message: unity. Ruto dismissed what he called a divisive politics, declaring that Kenya's future lay not in tribal arithmetic, but in visionary leadership. But even as the president posed for official photographs in Nairobi, Rigathi Gachagua, now no longer DP but still a political heavyweight, was holding court at his Wamunyoro home. There, a sizable group of Murang'a MCAs pledged loyalty to him. His counter message was sharp: nothing constructive is happening at Statehouse. What we are witnessing is a mission to divide Mount Kenya before 2027.
Statehouse has become a scene of crime. So what is happening today in Statehouse is a shame. It's a national shame that Statehouse has become the theater of absurd. It's a center of corruption and money laundering. Public funds are stolen daily and used as bribes to the people of Kenya.
So President Ruto knows the needs of Murang'a people. He doesn't have to call them to Statehouse for him to know what Murang'a needs. And we want to make it very clear to our people that he called people to Statehouse not for any other reason other than bribing him in his desperate move to see whether he can be able to move our people away from His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, whom they have embraced and decided is their leader.
Two meetings, same day, competing attendance lists, and very different narratives. To understand why this clash matters, you must first grasp the weight of Mount Kenya in Kenya's electoral map. This region has historically been the kingmaker. From Kibaki to Uhuru, every successful presidential candidate has either come from or secured the mountain's vote block. For Ruto, retaining Mount Kenya's loyalty is not just symbolic, it's essential for 2027. For Gachagua, reclaiming his place as the region's chief defender is not just about relevance, it's about survival. And when two men fight for the same base, every handshake, every photograph, everybody in the room becomes a political statement.
Ile agenda kubwa wako naye, ati wanataka kuja kusimamisha housing, wakuja wasimamishe universal health coverage, wasimamishe funding ya university. Hiyo ni strategy. Sio ni ujinga. Ama ni upumbavu. Ama ni yote mbili.
Today what is happening in Statehouse is pure corruption and bribery. The other day William Ruto was complaining that members of parliament are asking for bribes. But he is a briber in chief in his country. The other day he called the people of Kiambu and spent 60 million shillings. A week after, he called the people of Meru, spent another 60 million shillings. Today, he's going to spend 60 million shillings. He's giving people 10,000 each. That is 180 million. When hospitals in Murang'a have no drugs, when people are suffering because SHA is not working, when university students are at home, when students from secondary schools are at home, primary schools are not functioning because there is no money for capitation. All this money has been stolen and diverted for corruption and bribery.
Here is where it gets spicy. Statehouse attracted top-level names, MPs, CSs, senators, figures with national reach. But many grassroots leaders absconded Statehouse meeting, especially MCAs from Murang'a, were conspicuously absent. Instead, they chose to trek to Wamunyoro, where they sat face to face with Rigathi Gachagua. It's almost Shakespearean, the king hosting nobles at the palace, while the deposed deputy rallies the foot soldiers in his homestead. Each side claims legitimacy, but the absences speak louder than the speeches. For the president, the optics were about showcasing national unity. For Gachagua, the optics were about proving he still holds the ground troops who can make or break any presidential campaign. Gachagua did not mince his words. He accused Ruto of plotting to sponsor a presidential candidate from Murang'a, a pawn, of course, in his view, to split the mountain's unity and weaken its bargaining power. He called it a small blue wheelbarrow party, a reference loaded with symbolism from Ruto's UDA party roots. To Gachagua, this was not just betrayal, it was a strategic ambush. His warning, Mount Kenya would reject what he framed as political lies.
He is cheating the people of Murang'a that they have never led and it's their time to lead. And we know for sure he has prepared a small blue wheelbarrow to confuse the people of Murang'a so that he can cheat them to have a presidential candidate whom he is sponsoring, whom he is spending money on, to come and divide the votes in Murang'a. Unfortunately for him, the people of Murang'a are wise people.
Ruto, on the other hand, played the elder statesman, avoiding direct confrontation and instead painting his message in broad strokes of unity and development. But beneath the calm delivery, one could sense the urgency. The president knows he cannot afford to lose the mountain.
Nataka niwaulize nyinyi watu wa Murang'a. Si mlinipatia hii kazi? Ama namna gani? Na mnataka kujua hii kazi mlinipatia nimefanya imefika wapi? Si hapo ndio kipimo iko? Nikipita hiyo mtihani, si tunaendelea mbele? Ama namna gani? Tuko pamoja?
If this sounds familiar, it should. Kenya's politics is rich with parallel meetings that signal deeper ruptures. Think back to the days of Moi versus Matiba or Kibaki's early struggles to consolidate Mount Kenya unity. Every time the mountain divides, national politics trembles, and every time it unites, it produces presidency. September 12th, therefore, it wasn't just about two meetings. It was about who writes the script for 2027. Now let's talk about optics, the art of political storytelling. One, in Nairobi, polished photographs from Statehouse were quickly circulated. The setting, presidential, orderly, controlled. A clear message, legitimacy sits with the head of state. Two, in Wamunyoro, the images were different. MCAs crowded into a homestead, Rigathi seated among them, speaking like a man defending his backyard. It was raw, it was local, and it was powerful. For a casual observer, one event looked like governance, the other looked like a resistance movement. Both visuals matter, because in politics perception is often stronger than fact.
The Republic of Kenya.
Strip away the speeches, and what remains is the scramble for the mountain's vote. Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Kiambu, Nyandarua, these counties will likely determine Kenya's next president. If Ruto secures Murang'a, he retains his edge. If Gachagua locks the MCAs and grassroots leaders, he fractures Ruto's base. But if the mountain goes into 2027 divided, the door opens wide for unexpected alliances, whether from Ruto's camp, now teamed up with Raila, or Kalonzo, or the unified opposition, or even a surprise outsider. This isn't just a clash of personalities, it is the recalibration of Kenya's political compass. Here's the irony. Both men speak of unity, yet both organize rival events in the same day. Both claim to speak for Murang'a, yet neither can claim to have the whole county. It is a political paradox. Unity by division. The president says we must move forward together. The former deputy says we must resist division. And in between, the people of Murang'a watch two leaders fight for their loyalty, like parents in a bitter custody battle. The next few weeks will be telling. Will more MPs and MCAs openly declare which camp they belong to? Will Ruto continue to host delegations? Or will he recalibrate to avoid feeding Gachagua's narrative? Will Gachagua consolidate his new party, the Democracy for Citizens Party, into a formidable alternative, or will it fizzle under state pressure? Remember, politics is momentum driven. Today's split meeting could become tomorrow's full-blown political divorce, or just another tactical skirmish in Kenya's endless game of survival. So here's the question we end with. When the mountain roars, will it echo with one voice, or will it split into competing valleys? September 12th was not about development projects or county budgets. It was about political muscle, about who walks into 2027 as the undisputed kingmaker of Mount Kenya. For now, the jury is still out, but one thing is clear: the scramble for the mountain has only just begun, and the whole nation is watching. Who do you think is the king of the mountain? Ruto or Gachagua? Drop your comments. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.